Today I fucked up by sharing fitness notifications with my mother-in-law. Over the past year or so, my Mill has decided to lose weight and get in shape. She started working with a personal trainer who has encouraged her to track her workouts on her Apple Watch. Inspired by her progress, my wife and I decided to start working out and keeping track as well. We discovered that you can share your progress with others and even set competitions to stay motivated. It was my bright idea to add her mother to our watches, which by default notifies us every time she finishes a workout. Here's the FU. She tracks everything. Every walk, every workout, every stretch, at all hours of the day. She even tracks the quarter-mile walk to the mailbox. She is usually very specific about how she labels her workouts: outdoor walk, ZEET, yoga, etc. So I was puzzled today when I saw she completed a short exercise labeled other. I ask my wife, who informs me that her mother tracks the calories burned during sex. I now will know every time my in-laws bump uglies, for how long, and how hard. Some things just shouldn't be shared. Too long didn't read. I accidentally set up notifications for my mother-in-law's sex life. At least it's not on Twitter. I had somehow set my notifications to Twitter so all my efforts were posted daily. I don't go on Twitter. At a professional business lunch with my ex's boss's boss and international company owner, he mentioned he enjoyed my Twitter updates. I was like, but I don't use Twitter, or Fitbit does. Flushed face. I thought it was going to be the other way around, lol, which is worse. You could just mute notifications from her. She wouldn't know and you can still go back to unmute later if need be. Maybe it's a fetish. Thoughtful face. Only one real way to deal with this: you need to immediately outperform them every time. Both you and your wife need to log other for the same time periods. Take this one step further and have one of you labeled as other exerter. That way she knows who was putting in the heavy work. Break it down further. Other exerter cowgirl to really track which positions burn the most calories. Don't forget to track what happened to the transferred calories as well. Well, I would set my stuff up the same way and put like other, 45 minutes heavy, shit like that. Have her feel freaked out instead of you because now the situation is gross. Change it up to make it fun. Good luck. Today I fucked up by reminding an orphan he has no parents. This happened yesterday and I felt terrible about it. I got a call to my repair shop from a kid. Told me his Nintendo Switch isn't turning on anymore. I told him I've worked on countless Switches and said I would be able to look at and possibly fix it the next day. He got all excited and wanted to know if I could come pick it up from him. Told him that I don't go out to people's houses or meet them for drop-offs, and that he would need to come by and drop it off. He just said he couldn't come out to me and insisted that I drive by his place. By now I'm judging that he's a kid by 1, his voice sounding quite young, and 2, he's not reasoning with the fact that I don't do house calls like that. I asked if I could speak to his parents or guardian to set up a time where they could drop it off for him. He got quiet and I could feel his whole mood change. I don't have any parents, sir, I'm in a foster home. My heart dropped cause all this little guy wanted was his Switch to get fixed and I had to get his hopes up that I can then reminded him that he doesn't have parents. He told me that he was sorry to bother me and hung up. I waited to see if he or the foster parents or whoever is running the care center there to call me back, but no one did. So I spent the rest of the day depressed with his disappointed voice stuck in my head. Too long didn't read. Kid called my shop, wanted me to get his Nintendo Switch to repair, asked for his parents and he told me he's an orphan. Edit, I went through my call logs and found the number for the home he's at. Called and reached the front desk, explained the situation and was able to set a time for me to stop by. They were actually about 10 minutes from me, so it wasn't a bad deal at all. They wouldn't allow me to let him hang around my shop for various reasons, which made complete sense. As far as his Switch goes, it was a super simple fix. Needed to boot into recovery mode, yada yada techno mumbo jumbo. Did it for him on the spot. He was super happy and grateful for it. I feel a ton better. Oh god, please call that kid back and fix his Switch. Sure will. Oh my gosh, I'm crying. Right, I felt absolutely horrible. You couldn't have known. But it would be nice if you could find him and help him out. I'm sure it would mean a lot. I've thought about that. What I'd do. Teach him to fix broken consoles and computers probably lol. I'm not great with kids despite having an 8-month-old. Him so it's just play on the floor or watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse with him. Did you have caller ID or some way to return the call? Kid might just enjoy watching you fix it. I do. I think I'll call back Monday when I'm at my shop to see if I can get in touch with him. As an orphan we get used to it. It isn't all that tragic, it's what we know. Even if parents are in and out lives or gone from day one, we see the world from a perspective of independence more than pain. The absence of parents doesn't become a truly painful thing until you grow up and realize all the gaps you have to overcome, especially relative to your own kids. The most important thing you can do is reach back out to him and tell him there's a lot in life he is going to have to accommodate, splint, and overcome. Suggest he figure out printing a shipping label, or you send him a prepaid, that maybe you are willing to discount your services or help cover the cost of, compel solving problems. And tell him he's worth finding a way to have time he enjoys. Mho. Today I fucked up sledding with my GF and traumatizing a group of children. Here's an obligatory this happened a few years ago, I believe about 11 years. So, I'm lucky to live somewhere that has easy access to the mountains, so my friend groups and I tended to spend time up in them during our teen years. One year, my then youth group organized an inner tubing trip up to one of the bunny slopes, because Jesus loved slide down snow or something. I was pretty excited since it meant I could spend time with my then girlfriend. Fun times were had sliding down the slope for a few hours, until we get to the fuck up. I honestly have no idea why the youth leaders were cool with it. Maybe Jesus was bribed to look away? But my girlfriend and I had the idea of both sliding down on the same inner tube. So, with her situated on my lap, which was awesome for 16-year-old uber Christian me, we slid down, and hit a bump and tumbled. See, here's the thing I neglected to mention, my girlfriend was a double amputee with 2 prosthetic legs. And in case you don't know, some prosthetics can be harder to keep on than others. I know there are some that are essentially a tight sock with a screw on it that allows you to basically lock into the legs, but she didn't have those. Hers were more of a tight fitting that she'd put on a sock and pray to God she could keep a hold of it. Anyways, back to us tumbling. When we hit the ground, we were still next to each other. The snow was basically ice due to prior rain and was thus pretty sharp. So, unsure how I thought to do it, I grabbed her and pulled her on top of me so I'd get the majority of the damage. We eventually slid to a stop at the bottom and then became cognizant of a bunch of kids screaming. See, in my efforts to be a good boyfriend, I must have pulled her too hard. This sudden jerking motion, oh my, knocked one of her legs off, which then slid straight towards a group of elementary school kids. I'll never forget the screams from those kids, largely because the whole situation was hilarious. Considering the prosthetic she had was the same color of skin as hers, and she had drawn on it, making it look tattooed, it made perfect sense that these kids thought she just lost a leg, which I guess she technically did. In the end, I quickly got up and walked over to grab her leg and brought it back to her, careful to show the kids that it was prosthetic. It was a pretty hilarious fuck up that I've thankfully grown to enjoy the humor in, and it never fails to bring a smile to my face. Too long didn't read, went sledding and tumbled with then girlfriend. My attempt at protecting her resulted in her leg falling off, and sliding at group of kids and likely into their nightmares. I thought sledding was going to be a sex thing. Hell yeah it is. We, sledded all night. It felt, like bags of sand. It was mucho hotto. So, how was tubing? A girl's leg fell off. Starstruck, 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 nerd face, thoughtful face. Very wholesome, very funny. Was really expecting a blowjob behind the bushes type of story. Wasn't disappointed, though. I'm happy to hear you weren't disappointed. There were honestly a few stories like this from our relationship, but I think this one was the funniest, although, her working in a haunted corn maze getting her legs sawed off is kinda funny. Plus, it was kinda sorta maybe possibly probably perhaps my fault and thus qualified for a today I fucked up. Soon there'll be another post. Today I fucked up by going sledding as a kid and seeing a woman lose her legs.